Hey everyone, it's Elliott, and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about focusing on problem areas. It's been on my mind because it's something I've had to do a little bit recently. So what am I talking about problem areas? I'm not talking about like how fast can you shred, I'm not talking about like technique, I'm not talking about tone, I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm talking about like when you're playing a song and there's like a few measures or a few, a chord progression or something like that that just like, I think I'm gonna lay out on that one part and let the band play, and then it's that little area that you feel not so confident in. Problem areas vary. It can be a rhythm part that's really hard, or it can be some hard chords that you have to solo over. For me recently, it was chords to solo over. And those chords were G, B minor, F, and C. So G, F, and C, no big deal. But smoothly going from G to B minor to F, there was a few times that I heard myself and I was like, that was fine, but I can do better. I should do better. Like I can get away with like G, B, F. That would be fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it was just one of those things where I was like, if that's my first instinct and I leave it at that, I'll get the job done, but I don't think I will be able to kind of like fully feel free. I don't know if I'll be able to feel free over that progression. And that's something that can be quite annoying, right? Like if it was like, or something like that, I could go. And I could approach it from a bunch of different areas. I could do it a bluesy way, I could do it like a jazzy way, I could do it a country way, whatever, over that progression. But I'd be like, I don't really know how to sell, a bunch of genres over G, B minor, F. And then I got to make sure that I want to fit the song that I'm playing over, which is like classic rocky singer-songwritery. How do I play melodically, but how do I also interest myself while serving the song? How can I cover all the bases? Then I need to jam on this progression a little bit and familiarize myself with it. Also, by doing this, like this melody again, totally fine, but with odd progression sometimes comes really special odd melodies or opportunities to be, a little extra melodic, a little extra specifically melodic, if that makes any sense. So if I'm starting in the lower register and just playing the chords, like let's keep it simple, let's keep 3 strings. That sounds nice already. Maybe a little atypical, but sounds very nice. And already there's something I notice, which is the little line cliche, or cash, depending on what coast you're on in the US or something. But it's this thing. And I can kind of treat that F sort of like a G7 or F, sharp 11. Right? And already it's kind of giving me a flavor that I would probably miss if I was keeping it like super simple. Right? Keeping it simple and still simple, and then not so simple. Right? I'm kind of relying on the sharp 11 of the F chord. We're playing B over that F. And that's not stylistically incorrect, but it is kind of maybe pushing it a little further than, right? It's pushing it a little further than that, so it'll kind of tick a box for me. Still very melodic, still fits the thing, and now I'm getting somewhere. So again, to see this thing again, where G, then the 5th of B being F sharp, the root of the F chord, and then the 3rd of C, which is E. yeah, how can I dress that up? Okay. Okay. So I'm just like third, root, fifth of the next chord, root of that chord, fifth, root of the next chord, fifth of that chord, root, third of the next chord. So instead of going, right, it's not a fun thing. I can go. Already a bit more melodic. I can also make it, you know, a bit more beautiful of a delivery. Or but okay, so to expand on that idea, let's maybe take it a little too far. So already there, I would go, I like, but that would be like a, all right, that's a little much for the singer-songwriter vibe. It might be a little cool, but I'd be sort of pushing it, and that would be like the song that I get to do that thing on. It's also not necessarily melodic. It's cool, but you know, again, as much as I can focus on melody, let me kind of try to do that first before I start adding ish. So now I'm going to explore the in a different octave. And already I can kind of see like and that's quite a bit melodic, I think. Right? So it's not even particularly complicated. It's like starting on the 9 and then just a G major triad. Nice melodic line to a B minor triad, or I might want to do like, which would just be like minor pentatonic box. And then similar melodic line. So flat 7, 5 to the root of the F chord. That would be root, major 7, 5. And that's like, you could see that as like a weird chord, or you could see just the fact that I'm highlighting B. Right? That's really it. I'm not thinking like, ooh, you know, some advanced chord or whatever. I could add a little bit more interesting phrasing. Something like that. So, and then maybe, maybe not that. That's what I'm talking about. That's a bit more, I guess, unexpected than, right? And that's the kind of thing I'm hunting for by doing this. Something's, I mean, there's a nicer way to say it, but I'm hunting for something special. Like, this is plenty good, and I've done it before, and I'll do it again. But if I can kind of make it something that's a bit unique, if you come to see a band I'm playing with, I can try to make these moments a bit more unique. It's a good goal to have. And it keeps me also very invested in what I'm doing. I'm not just like, oh, yeah. Pretty good night. You know, I can just kind of play that. This, I'm just focusing on the delivery. You know, I'm making sure the phrasing is correct. And it makes like a slightly, signature stamp on our, whatever band I'm playing with, personal arrangement of that song. So say this progression comes around twice. We'll probably start out with this because I think it sounds nice and it's in like the lead area. It's not down here. Especially if this is like just like an 8 measure solo. I'll start out there and then go one higher to kind of like bring the melody up, bring the energy up. So from there I would go to this octave. Right? And there I would be like, okay, so I have G, like the 5th and the root. Right? The minor 3rd and the 5th of B minor. The 6th and the root of F. And then the root and 3rd of C. Okay. That kind of thing can sound good clean, but if I add distortion of any kind, sometimes, especially on like a humbucker guitar, it can be a little like muddy, a little bit not clear, a little bit like just a lot of stuff coming at you. So I would, instead of going, I might go. Something like that. Take full advantage of the. Or, again, I can try just something a little bit different. Something is interesting sort of happening. Now I have something that I would be like, it's a very clear, slightly fancy way and a very clear ending to a solo. So now we have. Or something. And that's where like my enjoyment of improv comes in. It's like, okay, I have an idea, but where I put the notes, how I phrase it that day get to change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, whatever. But at least I'm kind of building a framework to improvise around, because you don't have to. You could just write something out, but I kind of like a little bit of freedom, and I like the idea that one day I might want to start it on the lower side, one day I might want to start it on the higher end of the guitar, whatever. And I like to be able to flesh out a lot of ideas beforehand. So if I want to choose one thing from column A, one thing from column C, one thing from column whatever, A 1 2 3, maybe option A 3 and C 2, whatever, whatever, how, however you organize things. Um, I can choose that. I get to choose that, and that's not completely random. I'm not completely in the dark. It'll probably sound good. So this is kind of my method of dealing with problem areas. Play it to death all over the neck. But I know everyone's different, so how do you deal with them? In any case, if you got anything from today's video, please comment, like, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thanks very much for watching, and thanks for stopping by the channel where we're excited about guitar.